Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Give me just a moment. Trying to make sure I am hitting live in all the places. And let's see, am I live? Yes, beautiful. All right, as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. I'm grabbing this on my phone. Let's see, am I live? Yes. All right. Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful day here. I am super excited to be here with you this morning. And as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know you're here. And I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and then I'm going to dive into today's affirmation. And just a heads up, I will not be live tomorrow. Good morning, Erlyn. Good morning. I am leaving early in the morning. I'm going for a visit with my son. So I'll be on the road and will not be here tomorrow morning. So just a heads up to let you know, I will make a post and I may go ahead and share the affirmation and journal prompt just in a text and then I will not be live unless some reason after I get home, if things are, if I feel like I want to do that, then I will. But other than that, I will not be live tomorrow. I just want to give you a heads up. So let me go ahead and grab today's affirmation. And I'm just going to share. I put a post up yesterday because I was out walking, and it was like, I will. Thank you, Erlyn. I will. As I was walking and I was looking at this, it seemed like there were these beautiful, magnificent trees just everywhere I looked. Some of them had pink blooms, some had white blooms, but they were so majestic. And I stopped and looked at one for a little while and I actually took a little video of it. And I shared that yesterday of this tree in the neighborhood. And it was just, I could hear the birds, I could feel the sun on my shoulders, the sun was shining through, and it was just brilliant. And it got me to thinking about a lot of things. And I ended up creating the first of a series of meditations yesterday. And I'm still working on getting them all, the music clipped in there and all the things. But I'm super excited about that. So I put a post up about it yesterday. And anybody that thinks they might want to dive into this series, let me know. But it's what the premise of it is, we're already here. We're already where we're supposed to be. So definitely let me know, and I will be sharing when it actually gets live. All right. So today's affirmation is, I step into the unknown with courage and faith, trusting that the net will appear beneath me. I am fully supported in my bold moves, and I feel and honor my trust of the process. Because, you know, what happens to us a lot of times is that we want to step out into the unknown. We know the old thing, you know, trust that the net will appear. We know all of that. We've heard it before, but deep inside, we really don't trust that. Even if we're very faithful to God and we have this inner guidance, but we still have this little thing that pops up within us, you know, that we have to be very strategic to make sure that the net appears, or make sure that everything turns out the way it's supposed to, right? And so what I really want us to get into a place, and I'm not perfect at this by any means, I tell you that all the time, but you know, it's something that I'm continuously growing and working with. I have tremendous faith that God is going to provide. I have tremendous faith in my abilities, but there are times that I set an intention of something that I'm going to do. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, how the hell am I going to make that happen? How am I going to make that work? And suddenly I start dropping into that place of trying to figure it all out instead of having the courage to step and the faith that it's all going to come about as it should. It's all going to come about for my greatest good and the greatest good of everyone involved, right? Because sometimes we can plan things to the effect that in some ways it's not the good for all because we can't see the above picture, right? And that's one thing, and not that a coach is 100% knowing exactly what's going to be happening to you. We can't tell the future, but a lot of times as a coach and I can work with my client and I can kind of get a bird's eye view, so to speak. And I can see that some of the things that they're trying to do to make something happen are actually sending them in the wrong direction. Or they're alienating someone that they don't really intend to do that. So there's a lot of things that having a coach can help you see so that you can avoid some of those pitfalls. Because the thing is not all, I say a lot of times that opportunities show up as obstacles, but sometimes those obstacles that show up of our own doing. They're not the thing that's supposed to be helping us grow. We do grow through it, but we created it. And so it's when you can do this and with courage and faith and trust that the net will appear, then your inner guidance is just going to be stepping up and helping you so much more. And like I said, as a coach, that's one of the things that I help people with. So if you're in need of something shifting in your life and you've been trying to shift it for a while, then definitely give me a call. Let's chat, right? Because there are so many things that we can do on our own, but there's a lot of things that we need a little bit of guidance. All right, so let me grab today's journal prompt. Whoops, let me do that again because it didn't all show up. So give me just a second. Whoop. Delete. I can sometimes get a little long-winded on these when I put them up. Oh, there we go. All right, so our journal prompt for today is, what unknown or uncertain path are you being called toward? And I'll be honest, when I was looking at the tree yesterday and I was doing all of that, I didn't have any intention of creating any meditations, a series of meditations or anything like that. And that had not even been in my field of vision for a little bit, right? I've been doing more of the hypnosis recordings and things like that. But something about the way I felt when I was looking at that tree, something about the way I felt when I videoed this tree, and then when I posted it and I watched it again and I watched it on my phone, it was like it just brought up these things that it's like, this seems like what I want to do, right? That seems like the next step. But it felt really uncertain in a way, because we're talking a little bit of work, and then you gotta, when I'm putting the video together, it's not like I just do this recording and then I share it. There's other things that happen, and I was feeling a little bit inadequate. And so I was trying to use that video that I had, and I couldn't get it to load. And so there were different things that were happening, and it made me feel in some ways like, well, wait a minute, am I doing the right thing? And so I had to kind of step away from it and do a little breathing and a little bit of prayer and say, okay, where do I go with this? And then that was like this answer came to me, right? This is the right thing. You're just got a few things you got to learn about this process to make it happen. And so then it was like, okay, game on, I'm doing it. So like I said, I was able to get it created last night. I'm tweaking it a little bit sometime this afternoon. And so hopefully I'll have it up and available, sometime over the weekend, hopefully. But don't hold me to it, because it's a little bit of work. And I actually am intending on going ahead and recording the second episode in the series. And I don't know how many are going to be there. Right now it feels like 5, but who knows? I'm going to let, each time I do one, I'm going to let the path unfold, whether it's doing another one or stopping or what do I do next, right? So for you, what unknown or uncertain path are you being called toward? Maybe there's something that has been showing up for you and you kind of feel like, oh, that would be cool. I'd like to do that. But then you start looking at the reality of things and it's like, well, I don't know. Do I have the money? Can I even do that? What will people think? There's all these things that'll start popping up. And a lot of times it's, am I even capable? Right? So before I started working with Stacy Lauren, one of the things that I used to say all the time was, I don't do tech. I don't know how. I'm not good at it and everything. Right. And it didn't take long till people were reaching out to me for some tech support for some of the things that I was doing in her community. And that was just mind blowing. Well, wait a minute then. So that wasn't true. All that was true was that I didn't know how yet because I hadn't even tried. And so look at your life right now. What is the unknown or uncertain path you're being called toward? And then how would it feel to just fully trust that support will show up when you leap? Maybe there's something that you're wanting to do and you don't really know how, but you're going to trust it and you're going to show up, you're going to leap. And then somebody pops into your world that helps you make it happen. There's so many ways that things can work out. I mean, there's a plethora of little things dancing around all the time, trying to help you. And most of the time you're oblivious. So let's fully trust and support that whatever you need is going to show up when you leap. And interestingly enough, going back to the recording I was doing yesterday, I could not get that video to load. It just kept saying, no, 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 no. And then I even recorded my meditation and I couldn't get that to load. And I thought, what am I doing wrong? So I went back and I redid the whole meditation and everything. And I tried it again and I did it in parts and then it worked. But I still couldn't get the video. So I reached out to a friend and she said, I don't know. She said, let me try. So I sent it to her. She tried and it wouldn't work for her either. And I thought, is there something saying don't use this video? What is the deal? So I took a break from it. Went ahead and did the music and that stuff. And I said, okay, if I'm supposed to use this video, it'll work. And then later last night, she messaged me and she said, it worked. I finally got it to work. So there was a glitch that was going on that was preventing the video from loading. But interestingly enough, I had spent a lot of time trying to get that to work, right? And this is something that we do sometimes and hold ourselves back. So yesterday I was holding myself back by trying and trying and trying and trying instead of saying, maybe there's another option, right? That would have been beneficial. I could have used that video on something else, right? So when I went ahead and I got it downloaded and I put it into my recording, it didn't work because the way it was just a recording on my phone out in the yard, right? Or in someone else's. I was actually walking down the street, somebody else's yard. But the way the wind was blowing, you could hear it in the microphone. So when I put it into the recording, there were times you could hear it, but it didn't sound so much like wind. It was just like a whoosh. And so it's like, oh man, that takes away from everything. So I ended up deleting it. And once I did that, I found the exact one that I would have used had I not been playing all day with that one. So there was already something there that I could have used, almost not exactly like that, but a similar thing that had the feel to it that I wanted. But I wasn't trusting that I could figure it out. I just kept going diligently, got to get this recording. I got to get that one. That one's the one that's going to do it. That's the one. And so what I'm saying is sometimes we can get so stuck in how we think it's supposed to work that we totally miss some golden thing over here. Because in actuality, when I looked at the recording, once I added that one on, I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Now, not to say I'm going to try to see if I can tweak the other one and use it for another thing. Maybe I'll use it for another part of the series. But for some reason, I spent a lot of time, and I'm not going to say I wasted time because I learned a valuable lesson that sometimes if things are not working out right, just go ahead and pivot a little bit and say, okay, I'm going to put that on the back burner. I'll try it again later. Because the tech was the issue. There was or it wouldn't have been just me that couldn't get the video to load, right? So where are you when you're looking at what you want? What is the path that you're at? Are you spinning your wheels trying to make something work that instead of just supporting that when you start that everything will appear? And then write about what's possible when you choose faith over fear. Whew. I mean, what's not possible, right? Anything is possible when you choose faith over fear. And so I'm sharing what happened with me yesterday just to show that it doesn't matter who you are, you can do some of these things that hold you back. And and it may sound trivial in the moment, but I spent a lot of time yesterday that I could have been recording another meditation. I could have been marketing that meditation. I could have been going into one of my classes. I could have been writing my book. There was a lot of things that I could have been doing instead of struggling with that one thing, putting that video on there. But I was attached to it for some reason. I didn't have the faith in that moment that something else was even better available that I had already downloaded into my stuff. So there you go. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the affirmation. I step into the unknown with courage and faith, trusting that the net will appear beneath me. All is well, right? I am fully supported in my bold moves, and I feel and honor my trust of the process because that's what it takes. Faith and trust. Once you make the decision that this is the path you're going on, and you start making a move with faith and trust, it's like the little staircase starts appearing as you go. So maybe it's not a net. You're not going to fall into a net. Maybe it's that the staircase will just be showing up. Each step you take, the next step is right there. I fully support, well, it should say support, not supported. I am fully, maybe it is. Okay. I am fully, I was thinking, did I write this wrong? I am fully supported in my bold moves, and I feel it and honor my trust of the process. Oof. Glorious, right? I love it. So put this on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, put it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror with a chalk marker, put it on a piece of paper, stick it to your fridge, put it somewhere that today you are reminded all day long that with faith and trust, you can move mountains because you know with faith and trust, the staircase, the net, whatever you need in the moment will appear. All right, hold on a second. Let me see. Trying to make sure I'm not ignoring anybody. And as I said before, thank you for being here live. And for those that are watching and not talking, I understand you're in a place that you can't do that, or you just feel like you want to be in the background. And that's okay too. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. All right. All right. So our journal prompt today, and as I always recommend, get out your notebook or your journal, put the date, the affirmation in the journal prompt, because they all are together. It really, really rounds it out to help you internalize it and utilize it to the best of your ability, right? So the journal prompt, and what you're going to do is as you write out the affirmation in the journal prompt, you're going to say them out loud. You're going to say them with feeling, with conviction, with emotion, right? And then you're going to set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And after you've written it down, you've said it out loud, then you're going to hit that start button and you're going to just tap into the silence. You're going to close your eyes. And if you want to, put your hands over your heart. It always works well for me. And then you just breathe in and breathe out. Focus on that breath. And when the chatter starts in your mind, which it will, we're all human, so it does. Sometimes more than others. But when it does, all you do is as soon as you notice it, you go back into listening to your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And what helps me sometimes is that if I can't seem to keep that chatter from just going crazy, I will focus on sounds that I hear. So sounds I might hear in my room, sounds that I might hear outside, whether it's somebody mowing their lawn or it's one of the cats meowing, if it's my chimes downstairs, sometimes it's the ceiling fan, any sound, even the one from the computer, any sound, you listen to it and you label it like ceiling fan, computer, mower, chimes. And what that does is it takes you out of this conscious thought pattern because you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So you're coming back into the now and you're just breathing and relaxing, right? And you keep doing that however much you need to do it till the timer goes off. And once you get really skilled at this, you can just focus on your breath the whole time and it'll be great. But what happens a lot of times for me and for others is that you can focus on your breath, but it's like instantaneously you start popping into the to-do list or what happened yesterday or why is this not working kind of thing, you know? And so when it gets into that where it's like you're having more chatter time than you are quiet time, then that's when you start focusing on sounds so that there's nothing else to think about, if that makes any sense. And then when your timer goes off, you've made this connection to your inner guidance, to your God voice. And then when you pick up your pen or your pencil and you start to write, there is a wired connection between your thoughts, your heart, and your hand. And so since you've been diving into your God voice, your internal guidance, that's where your subconscious mind, that's where these words that you're writing will come from. And if you don't get into the silence, it's coming from your thinking brain, your conscious mind. And so it only has a little bit of information to go from. But your internal guidance has so much that you don't even know is there. And so you just start writing out whatever comes up. What unknown or uncertain paths are you being called toward? You might even want to write down, you might hear something in your head or think something that you think, that's not an unknown or uncertain path that I've ever thought of. Write it down anyway. Write it down because all you're trying to do is get that really good connection with your inner voice, your inner guidance, your God voice, right? And that's how it gets out because most of the time we are so busy in our heads that we're getting information from God, from our inner guidance all the time. We just cannot hear it. We're not listening. So this is giving you the opportunity to listen in an entirely different way Just let it pour out. No judgment. Just let it pour. So what unknown or uncertain path are you being called toward? And just brain dump everything, right? And that, because it's just for you. You don't have to share it with another soul. And then you look at that list and you think, okay, you can, if there's more than one, you can look at it. That one thing, how would it feel to fully trust that support will show up when I leap, when I do that? How would it feel up? How would it feel? How would it feel up? How would it feel to show up when you leap? So for each thing you write out, answer that question. How would it feel to fully trust that support will show up when you leap? Write that out. And then one more time, write about what's possible when you choose faith over fear, because that is going to be so much more eye-opening after you've done the other two. That third one has already got some momentum going. And so you'll have so much inner information, inner guidance, God guidance that will come out on the paper. That, and if you're not feeling it when you do this, it just means you need to tap into the silence a little bit longer. Maybe it means you need to contemplate on it for a while and do it again. But I'm telling you, the guidance that you can gather from just tapping into the silence, oh, it's profound. All right. So make sure that you spend some time with this today. You deserve to know how this inner guidance works, and to see what your path is and understand fully what is possible when you fully trust in the process. All right. So thank you guys for being here this morning, and thank you for the well wishes, Erlyn. I appreciate it. And let me check over here real quick. And you have a beautiful, beautiful day filled with possibilities, and trusting that everything is going to be exactly as it's supposed to. All right. And remember, I'm not going to be here tomorrow, but you will be in my thoughts when I'm in the car. I promise you, because when I'm in the car and it hits 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be thinking, oh, am I letting anybody down? Right. But I made a decision that I'm going to do the things that are really, really important. And I know you guys are important too, but spending some time with my son, and those that know the story are, you understand completely. And so I'm gonna go spend some time with him tomorrow. He actually invited me to go to church with him, and that's a biggie for him to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go meet him, go to church. We're going to go to lunch, and we'll see. But you have an amazing day and an amazing tomorrow, because you, whether you believe it or not, are totally amazing. Mwah.